Hello, lovely people. This is Nicole.
And this is Samantha.
With the power of we are here to switch it up and teach you about business, relationships, and how to not only survive, but make it in Los Angeles.
In each episode, we will have top influential guests from the world of real estate. We work hard,
We stage hard.
and we get it done.
The power of we.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
I can't believe we're back.
I'm so happy to be back. Look at this view behind us. So incredible.
It's incredible. We
know.
did so much over the holiday. Thank God I
Yeah.
had family time.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry.
It was so nice to be together as a family and spend time in Palm Springs.
Yes. And having my son there
I know, it was lovely.
makes me cry thinking about
No
it.
more crying. No more
Okay.
crying. No more crying.
Anyway, before we get started, let's talk about, I would like to thank Elite Maison. It is such a great place to go if you want to get furniture for your home, your rental, anything you want to do. EliteMaison.com is the place to be. But before, thank you, Elite Maison. But let's talk about our guest. I am so excited. Remember when I went to Dubai?
Yes.
Oh my God. I land, right, from London, speaking with you in
Right.
London. And she's like, oh, we got to go to this event. I was like, okay,
know.
cool. So I go to this event. It was super posh. And the cutest girl goes up there. I was like, she had so much to say. She was so cool. I was like, I have to go up to there. And this lady goes, you're going to go up and talk to her?
Of course you are.
Of course I am. Anyway, let's talk about her. Dr. Neeta Bhushan is a world-renowned emotional health educator, speaker, and best-selling author whose journey from personal loss to global impact has made her a leading voice in resilience, healing, and personal transformation. She is the founder of the Global Grit Institute, co-founder of the Dharma Coaching Institute, and author of her amazing book, That Sucked, Now What? With a mission to help people rise from life's challenges, which is so up my alley. Welcome! Hey, I'm so excited that you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here.
I can't
know,
believe
incredible.
it.
Yeah, this powerful duo. So,
I mean,
Thank you.
we try and help people, but watching you up there and, I think what I connected with was I had black toxic mold and no one in LA could diagnose it. They had no idea.
Yeah.
And I went to Marta, she owns Surya. Do you know her?
Oh no, yeah.
She's amazing. And she did Ayurvedic.
Okay,
And
Ayurvedic.
whatever it's called. And I was like, you're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's the only thing that worked.
It's the only thing that worked.
It
So
was the only
Ayurvedic
thing.
treatments
Yeah.
helps you detox.
I mean, they have to.
The Panchakarma cleanse.
It was
oh,
awful.
you did a Panchakarma cleanse.
Like 9 days in a row.
Oh.
She would call me princess. She'd come in. I'd be like, what are these girls doing? This is awful.
Did they put the ghee, the oil in your
Everything.
face,
And they
ear?
put it in
Yes.
your hair
But,
and
I
everything.
mean,
Yeah, I would come out
Put
with
it
oil hair, but I'm telling you, I was so sick, and no one. They did the test. It was awful. What happened to you?
Oh my gosh. I think it was kind of like, because we travel a lot,
Yeah.
as a family. And even I think we were talking before the show started, I've been to over 70 countries.
I know, wait, back up. How is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really, fill us in.
I mean, gosh, wow. Like, long and the short story of
Yeah.
it is I was born and raised by immigrant parents. My mom's from the Philippines, my dad's from India, tiger parents. So they were strict. And so, I could only be doctor, dentist, lawyer, engineer. I became a dentist first, and that was my trajectory. My parents died when I was younger, before I was 19. And so I think because you have to grow up so early,
Right.
I was like so confined, couldn't go away to school because
Yeah.
my brother had died before I even went to college. And
Wow,
so
you had a lot of trauma young.
yeah, I had a lot of trauma young.
A
And
lot.
so when you have a lot of that, you're kind of like parentified.
Yeah.
And I became
Yes.
a caretaker of my younger brother. And so
wow, yeah.
fast forward to my 20s, when I go to dental school, I do all of the things. I get married. It was, all of these things on paper, became a cosmetic
Right.
dentist, not even a dentist. And then even got my own business as well. I went in and purchased a practice right out of school. And then all of that came crashing down at the end of my 20s. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing all of this for?
Right.
Why? And so that began my journey. I call it an independent awakening.
Okay.
Because I left my marriage. It's kind of like the first 2 pages of my newest book, That Sucked Now What. Things got pretty dark before it got light again. And then I just started to travel. Nice. I was curious about, being with different shamans and healers and leaders. And, I think it was also filling my void as well. Because I lost
you really
my parents.
Educated yourself.
Yeah.
This is really important because I know a lot of people are asking us, you know what, I don't want to send my kid to college. They don't want to do that same way. But you educated yourself through traveling.
Yeah. I did, and it was, yes, I got all of those degrees, but I don't think that nearly supported me like globally versus
it was a different kind of education.
Being in the ashrams in a different country, going to the places where my dad used to pray for so many hours. And I didn't really understand all of that until I actually lost him and needed to kind of fill my own cup. Right. And so I think a lot of times we don't necessarily realize the impact that our parents have until we go through our own shit, our dark night of the soul. And then you come out on the other side and you're like, this is not for me. I'm not meant to be in like a little box.
Right.
I loved working with patients. I loved, transforming their smiles, but I'm like, there's so much more out there. Yeah. So then I started
that just touched the surface.
Yeah.
You started to see people transform with a smile but you had so much more inside you to do.
Oh, there was tons. And when I started, talking to people about their relationships, I mean, the amount of professional women that have also been in toxic, abusive relationships, marriages, and people would come out because you're working with them so intimately. Right. So that was my first foray into, okay, like she's feeling safe to tell me all of this stuff that's going on in her life because I'm here working on her mouth, even though I should be the one talking. And so that kind of lent me to really start this research where that was kind of the basis of my first book, Emotional Grit, where I interviewed about 500 different leaders from all across life, like single moms, women who've escaped, pretty crazy things in different countries. I'm talking Cambodia, the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia. So I started kind of there and then of course went to Europe. And so now I've been to a lot of places, yes.
That's amazing.
In a nutshell, that was like,
incredible.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so being able to say that, you're going to be exposed to mold. You're going to be exposed to so many different things
in life.
And in life. And the amount of times I would get sick, now I have a whole like regimen of, that's probably why I became such a wellness advocate. Both of my parents did die of cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so that kind of informed the things that I was putting into my body, how I was really, showing up, how I was, if I was going to hold things. And a lot of times if we're holding on to either certain people, places, circumstances, situations, that's going to start manifesting in your body. Yeah, whether it's holding on to mold or, parasites even.
It is really crazy because the Western medicine really could not help me.
Oh, yeah.
I went to so many doctors. I'm like, this is nuts. And she kept saying to me, Mom, are you okay? Which made me crazy because I'm going 100 miles an hour all the time. Yeah. And for it to slow me down, I was like, I'm figuring this out. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So I know you have a new book and That Sucked Now What? What made you, it seems like my life coach wrote 4 books. Like what makes you write? People say to me, write a book. I'm like, hell no, that sounds awful. What made you want to write a book?
You know what? It's funny. So I've always loved writing. Like when I was growing up, I had one of those little keepsake journals and I would, with a little locket and I would write down all of the boys that I secretly had crushes on because I had a strict Indian father who was like, oh no. And then I remember vividly, I was 14 years old and he broke my lock because he wanted to see, all right, she's spending too much time on this phone, with the landline.
I would break her lock for sure. Let's get something straight.
Yeah.
And she would write a book too. I could just see that. You guys are very similar.
I can totally see that. Well, and so, I think with so much life happening for me before I was 30, I was like, okay. And people had always said, write a book. I'm like, how do I go from dentistry to being an author? There's absolutely no way. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I did, after a very spiritual experience and a few different retreats, psychedelic experiences, I basically made the...
What kind of retreats did you
Well,
do?
so it was ayahuasca. So
You
it was
did?
for 3 days of ayahuasca.
How was
Wow.
that
I
experience?
did go to Burning Man.
you did? Nice.
Yeah. I've been there 3 times now. That was probably the most beautiful experience ever.
Really?
Do you
You
do it
weren't
with a
scared?
shaman?
I would be scared.
Yeah, well, I was scared. And
Yeah.
it was, because then you're meeting so many different people
Right.
who have done all kinds of different things. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I got into the spiritual world. And so, but when you're ready, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's definitely not for everyone. And if
Yeah.
you have, kind of trauma, addiction, you've had substance abuse or other things, I really want to make sure people who are watching and listening to this,
Yes.
it isn't for everyone. And you definitely want to check it out.
But
because
I heard it could lead to really cool spiritual experiences
It
for people who
can.
do have a really good
for
experience with
people who, and there are other things that can kind of unlock that if
Right.
people are curious about it. I would like to say this is like the bungee jumping of all, like
Yeah.
you're going into the depths with this one. And so this
That
is,
would definitely not be for
it-
me. I can tell
it.
you
Did
right
it like
now.
bring up different things that you had to clear out in your
Oh,
subconscious?
totally. Yes. I mean, I think the first day, it was, this is going to get kind of dark, but it was almost like I had an ego death.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And physically, I was in I could still remember, I had a visual of being in a open field and it was really dark and it was me just kind of realizing, okay, that part of Neeta had to die off because
Interesting.
she's no longer going to be a people pleaser.
Yeah.
She's no longer going to carry the weight of all of her lineage. She's not
Right.
going to, keep saying yes to all the things that just because she's good at it,
Right.
she's going
Right.
to keep continuing.
Yeah.
And so that was a big weight. And then the second day and the third days, it was almost like, me kind of in a movie of my own life.
Yeah.
Neeta as a little girl, Neeta, growing up, going to
Really?
school, doing all the things. Yeah,
So
it was
interesting.
insanely
Wow.
crazy. And then by the third day, I'm reunited with my parents and my brother who had
wow.
passed away. Yeah, and they're like
I have the
angels.
chills right
me
now,
too.
honestly.
Yeah, and
That's
they're-
insane.
It was crazy, and it was like
Yeah.
angels, and I was always like, oh, I always knew that they were always
Yeah.
leading
Yeah.
me on, and kind of that guiding force.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like, all right, it was like they're giving me the green light to say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
leave Chicago,
Do what you
do
want.
what you got to do. If you want to be an
Amazing.
author, be an
Yeah.
author. Get
But
your.
this is really cool for our listeners because people get stuck. They don't know what they want to do. We were just talking
Yeah.
about this. We were
A
just
lot of
saying,
people, I think, it's hard to find yourself, right? I mean,
Right.
especially when you're young.
and especially
Absolutely.
with Instagram and all that
Yeah.
crap that it wasn't around when I started my
Of
company.
course, and you lose yourself,
Yeah.
and I think if you and the things that I write in my book now is whatever you're exposing yourself to on the daily,
100%.
whether it's the crazy TikTok accounts,
Right.
and a lot of times we're numbing, but what do we know about dopamine?
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
you're using alcohol or any of those substances
Or the
or
TikTok.
or
Social media,
TikTok,
yeah.
it's the same thing. I
That
think-
is so true. I
It's a
never
dopamine
thought of
hit,
it
yeah.
and,
like that.
and scientists are kind of saying, it's as if you are also on cocaine. It's
Yeah.
the same addiction mechanism in your
makes
brain.
sense.
Right.
And so if we're following, all of those negative accounts or even the negative friendships that you have that are
Exactly.
putting you
Yeah.
down, you're gonna be thinking, okay, glass is half full.
Yeah. So
every
you have
single time.
kids. How do
I
you manage
do.
your kids' time on social media? Are they doing that yet?
Oh my gosh. We're no screens in the house.
Okay.
My kids are 4
I
and
love
7.
that. I'm
Yeah.
taking that for my grandkids that she doesn't have
And I
yet.
think a lot of parents struggle with that balance.
It's
Yeah.
so hard because I work on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a creator.
Right.
I've got a couple of businesses.
Yeah.
I have to be on. I've created a big personal brand and also a podcaster. And so
Right.
you're constantly like trying to maneuver. And
Yeah.
I've noticed my 7-year-old's like, oh mama, because you're scrolling, but I'm
Yeah.
like, looking for stuff or
Right.
sometimes you just
Send
get into
emails or
it.
whatever, yeah.
And he's like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to dance or I want to. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, he's like seeing what I'm doing,
Right.
And so he thinks it's fun, even though, and then the other side of it is like, well, mama, and then he equates phone to work. So mama, you're always working. You're always on your
Yep.
phone. And
yeah.
so that kind of, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just.
Oh, the guilt just starting,
guilt.
honey. Wait, just wait. Just wait. She's good at this guilt.
Kids are good at that. That's true.
So that's kind of how it's been.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a journey. My daughter is very much she's 4. She's 4.5, and she's very much into the dancing. And so we have a lot of dancing stuff that comes up on my feed.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how do we do this? But every day I'm learning, you know?
Yeah, but you're in Dubai, so there's so much going on. There's so much events. Like when I went there, I was actually
nonstop.
shocked. I actually went to a Thanksgiving from, I don't know, someone there that invited Davide and Sandy. And I was so excited to see normal life. I saw a lot of normal life, not just the hotel
big on
life.
like events there. Like,
It was
People
definitely.
really love to connect, and it's interesting because
And they're not snobby at all.
no, everyone's really down to earth.
It
so
was
nice.
so refreshing. I can't even tell you because I raised my kids in Calabasas.
Oh, wow.
So I know it all about that.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it was so refreshing.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, where are you from?" They were so nice.
That's
I
so
was like,
nice.
"Why is everyone so nice here?"
Yeah, everyone there's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be somebody bigger, better than you
Right.
and has more than you, and it's and you can see it's just I think it's also Arab culture and hospitality.
Yeah.
They set the precedence
Yeah.
of like I'm not going to do anything with you unless I know your kids, unless I know
Yeah.
your heart.
Yeah,
you know?
that
And
was
it's-
really
that's nice.
interesting to me too.
Yeah, you bring your kids to everything, and
That's
of course,
sweet.
there's support
Yes.
team to kind
Yeah.
of help with that.
Yes, there's
which-
a lot of support. I saw,
and
that.
that's very much the difference of American culture,
Yeah.
right? We're like, let's do it all on our own,
Right.
and let's
Yeah.
not have any, you know,
Yeah.
support. And,
And so, do you
Interesting.
like living there?
oh my god, I love it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. I
my
mean,
friends Davide and Sandy love it too.
we
they
really,
absolutely love it.
I mean, we're obsessed with it. It's been a year. We made that choice, you know, and we were living in Austin, Texas after we had
okay.
left LA, you know, a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, actually like quite a few years ago now, but we were in LA with my son. And then during COVID, we moved to Texas.
Oh, wow.
And so moving from Austin to Dubai was like a completely different
Yeah.
life
Right.
altogether. I'm like, I had to trade my, you know, cowboy boots for heels again.
Yeah.
And so, but it's such a stark difference. And you see, because, you know, a lot of the work that I do now is in emotional health, in mental
Yeah.
health. You know, our podcast is top 15 in mental health.
That's amazing. Congratulations,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Thank you.
Really cool.
And I think the thing that I've noticed, the biggest stark difference from the US and being in Dubai, you see all the flashy stuff. If you're going to see all of the,
yeah.
you know, like Housewives of Dubai and all that, it's super grand.
Actually, I was surprised. I didn't see as much flashy stuff as I saw holistic stuff.
Which is
Right.
interesting
Which
because that's what
is
it's
so
known
weird.
for. I mean,
Yeah.
from my knowledge of it, everyone says it's like
I
Vegas
was
on steroids.
shocked when I went there. I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's
it's the
not what I
opposite.
expected at
was so
all.
nice.
People
Not at
are
all.
attracted to that part
Right.
and they
Yeah.
think it's that. They think it's very much like a Miami on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
steroids or Vegas.
No,
but it's the
absolutely not.
completely it's opposite. It's
So
what
nice.
the persona or the
Yeah.
PR wants you to think.
And even
Interesting.
the mindful events, they're completely different than any of our mindful
Yeah.
events that we go to
Yeah,
here.
the mindful
It
events
was
here.
they're very
There's almost like a pretentiousness
Yeah,
a little bit,
there's like a-
and it's like, are you more
Trying to get
woke than
something,
me?
yeah.
Or like,
or do you how many followers
too
you
much ego
have
involved,
or
I think.
whatever.
There's a lot of ego
Yeah.
over there.
Instead of wanting to help each other.
Yeah, and over there it's community culture.
Yeah.
And I think that's what
That's
it
the
comes
biggest
down
difference, I
to
would say.
because it's very collectivist,
Yeah.
right? Here
Yeah.
there's
So
like
nice.
individual,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an appointment with you
Yeah.
3 months down the line and we'll go for coffee.
Right.
And if it's too much traffic on the road, I'm gonna cancel.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's funny, I was just with, you know, a couple of girlfriends driving in from San Diego. We had an
Yeah.
event and I'm like, oh yeah, this is LA. I forget because in Dubai, it doesn't matter how much traffic. It
Right.
doesn't matter what's
Yeah.
going on at home. They could have
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 kids. They said they're going to meet you. They're going to meet you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I get it. We all have boundaries, and
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that too. But it's the culture. They're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going
You
to
do what you
cancel.
say you're gonna do.
because of traffic
Yeah.
or because I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, I remember that's just how it was in LA.
Yeah,
and then
it's
no
very
wonder
different.
a lot of us feel isolated,
Yeah.
lonely,
Yep.
and we're just going to Netflix.
It's
you know?
really
It's true,
interesting
though.
though because I started my company in 2008, right?
Yeah.
And there was no career for women in staging, and that was my mission. That's why I'm here today. Is because I made it a point that women could have a career. Because a man stood up when I was speaking on stage saying, "Do you have your design license?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Well, you're not going to be successful." I said, "Watch me." And now I'm going to teach women how to have a career because there was none of that. And
Yeah.
so now, you know, through the years, I've learned because I have all salespeople, women salespeople that are young.
Wow.
And the biggest thing that we can do, you know what it is? is teach them to be secure with themselves.
Yeah.
And cultivate a team. I think that community
Yes.
aspect is the biggest thing.
100%.
Especially in LA. We have such a lack of community here. And like my best friend just moved to London, and she's like, the biggest difference is it's a community. Like
It's a community.
people say hi to each other on the street. You walk,
Yes.
you know your neighbor. Like here, it's just not like that at all.
I
Yes.
know.
Which I
It's
wonder how we
really-
could get back there. I don't know.
Well,
It's just
that's.
like
I feel like
But
I
it's
met
cool.
your mom, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
okay, we gravitated towards
I
each
know.
other.
I like ran up to her. The girls that were sitting, they were like, I want to go talk to her. I was like, what is wrong with them? I'm going right up.
I love that.
Well, and I think, and for anybody listening and watching to
Yeah.
this, if you want to change something in 2026, I would say make the ask,
Yeah.
go up to somebody, send that
Really?
DM, send
Right.
the text, you're going to be a little wobbly
Yeah.
and you might get a rejection. You might say,
Right.
you might get a
Exactly.
like,
Yep.
no, I'm busy, or no, I'm this. And it's not anything about you. It's probably like either they're feeling self-conscious or they're
Right.
just busy in life. Everyone
Right.
is
Yeah.
got their stuff going on. But, I kind of talk about micro rejections because that's how you build relationships, right?
This is
100%,
really good, and I
yeah.
want my salespeople to hear this. I remember you talking about this. Talk about this.
Yeah,
This is
so
important.
micro rejections it's like it doesn't have anything to do with you.
Right.
It's either they're not used to being approached, and that's okay. And so you try again.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, are you busy next week for coffee? I'd really love to, sit down and get to know you, or let's go
Yeah.
for a walk. No, I'm not into walking. Okay, well, maybe, and it doesn't, so some young people would
Yeah.
say, oh my gosh, that's like, you're really, you're sweating them, or you're just, that's
Yes.
too
Yeah.
much.
So they do
Yeah.
that in our sales organization. They're like, I don't want to bother them. I'm like, bother them. You need to remind them.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
reminding. I think
Yeah.
so many people are so caught up in their own head
100%. I think
and
that's the
their
biggest thing.
own life.
Yeah.
Right.
That
That's so
You can't
true.
get out
you
of self.
cannot take it personally.
Yeah.
And I think with all of the things that are trying to capture our attention,
Yep.
nobody remembers everything.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we're in this ADHD economy where,
Right.
people are just so focused on the first thing that
I
they
know.
see.
100%. Yeah.
And our brains are starting to turn into mush because
Yeah.
everything's on ChatGPT, and we have to get reminders. And so for anybody who's in sales, this just means that you want to be top of mind.
Right.
100%.
I've said this 150 times.
Yeah.
Please make sure that everyone at Elite listens to her.
I think it's important though.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, rejection is redirection. And I
Yeah.
think with the micro rejections, it's like, it's not now, it's probably later.
How do you think that translates into relationships?
Oh my gosh.
Because
Well,
I think
it's
relationships nowadays are so. I don't know. I think it's different from when like you grew up.
Oh,
Oh,
100%.
Like I
1,000%.
can't figure out how to date anymore. Honestly. I
Oh
don't
my
get it.
gosh. Well, and I think for dating
Yeah.
too, and we talk a lot about this, relationships on the podcast as well. It's somebody's got to have the bravery, the courage to go first.
Right.
It's going to be messy, and we're all worried about what will we look like? What will people think? Oh my gosh, am I going to come off as this, and this?
Right.
Well, what if you just do the thing? What if you just do it? No expectations.
Yeah.
But maybe we learn from it. And all right, if it doesn't, all right. So it's almost like, I'm going to test this out. Hey, let's go for a hike.
And that's how it was back then.
And yeah. And
Do
now
you
it's
realize that? That's
Yeah.
why I did not give a F. I would go, they would answer. I'm like, you're lucky. I would be like, you're lucky that we're meeting. Like, let's go enjoy.
Yeah.
And if I don't like you, I don't like you. I would call
I think
her
it's
and
so
say,
different
I'm leaving.
because of
fine.
like
Yeah.
social media and the
It's a
phone.
lot
It's
of
so
pressure for them.
accessible, right? Because
Well-
like the texting and all that stuff is just so different now.
Right. Well, and I feel like, for your generation,
Yeah.
because I've got a lot of, the Gen Zers on my team as well. It is so interesting the way, you guys vibe so differently.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, so I can ghost this person.
Yeah.
Like I'll text them, I'll ghost them, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
And then I would like to be like, oh my gosh, well, what happened? Is
Yeah,
everything
of
okay?
course.
I
would call them out for sure.
And you guys are kind of like, all right, just let's
Let
move
them-
on.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
move on to the next.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not how we're supposed to build relationships.
And I think
Right.
that's the issue. Yeah.
And
That
we get
is
used
such
to
an
that.
important
I think
thing.
like personally, I'll get used to just being like, okay,
they're busy.
or
it's fine.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's
Yeah, but
it.
you
I
have a
don't know.
lot of old school in you.
Yeah.
You forget.
No, but I think that's
You
like the
do.
generational
She does, for
thing.
Yeah, and I feel like
Because all my friends are like, it's so hard to date these days.
to break that,
Yeah.
I think also, it's to be willing to go first, to
Yeah.
be willing to be misunderstood, because the right person is gonna love all of that about you and is gonna be like, all right,
Yeah.
she's
Exactly. And also, I want to tell you, by you saying it's hard to date, what am I going to tell you? You should be saying it's so easy to date. I have a girl that just was on a friend that was on the Bachelorette or whatever, the Golden Bachelor. And I'm telling you, she has 85 boyfriends all the time because she always says to me, oh, it's so easy to date. There's so many guys out there. And she literally gets everything she wants.
Yeah,
Trust
that's
me.
true. That's
So
true.
you know better.
It's true.
So that kind of goes with your book, right? You talk about your relationship in your book a little bit.
Yes, I talk about, kind of the crazy moments that happen in life, right? I've been through a lot of life. So from loss to
Let's show that gorgeous book.
seeing my parents go through cancer,
God,
lots of
that's
different
awful.
things. I mean, through having children, finding love again, going through breakups.
Well, look at you. You found love again. I love that story. Tell just a sneak peek about that.
I did find love again. And you know what's interesting? When you said that your friend had 85 boyfriends, there was a time, and it was after my ayahuasca journey. So actually this kind of ties in. So I said, all right, you know what? I am just going to, and it was at the end of 2014. This was a while ago. And I remember that, my ayahuasca was in December. So the next year, January, I was like, I'm going to do my Eat, Pray, Love. I'm going to go to,
Love that.
Bali and all these places. Fun. And I just went to Southeast Asia because I really loved. And I said, I'm going to do 60 days of dating. I'm going to say yes to whomever and whatever, just to say yes. So we're at the top of the year. Maybe we can say yes. Yes to whomever. And honestly, the criteria was, even if they aren't looking good on whatever profile, like there had to be some standards, but that I'm like, all right, if it's a vibe, and even though maybe I might not be super attracted to them, or that's not the first thing, but I'm going to look into, well, who are they?
Right, yes.
And I'm going to just say yes to that. Because I feel like we've gotten with these apps that 100%. If they're not like, a certain height, really certain whatever.
Oh my God, I love what you're saying right now. This is great.
we disregard them. And I think that's the reason why this is affecting kind of the dating scene for everybody, for both the guys and the girls. And, so I did this. I said yes. And there were people that I wouldn't necessarily date. But you know what? After that, and of course, then I had a spreadsheet. So then don't do what I'm doing now. Okay.
I love that. That's me.
You are hilarious. She would definitely be me. I wouldn't.
I'm a double Capricorn and Cancer sun, but double Capricorn. So I did put it on a spreadsheet. So don't do that. And what's interesting, and the long and the short of it is, a lot of these men were amazing, and the universe was bringing me some really amazing men. I was like, okay, why am I not attracted to them? Yeah. Oh, it's because my brain was like, let me just put it in a spreadsheet. And then there was like, the chemistry was taken out, right? Because I would evaluate them on, okay, like where have they traveled? Have they read the spiritual books? What are they, how are they, contributing in life? Like all of these things, of course, their character. So it was a very different criteria. But then I was still putting them in a box, right? And then not really gauging with my heart as well. And lo and behold, somebody that I that never made it to this list was a dear friend that I had known for... We had met in different parts of the world. We never met in the US. We always met at conferences. And I met him different points. So I met him a few years before. We had met again we were at a conference speaking in Malaysia. We were at another conference speaking in India. And I was like, all right, we keep bumping into each other. And we just created this friendship. And I think for a lot of us women, we need safety. And safety is the biggest thing to kind of opening up. And he was going through a divorce. I had gone through a divorce. And you just start bonding over a lot of those things. And so that reduced our threshold of sharing things with each other. And guess what? We fell in love and then lived in 33 different cities together in a year and a half.
That's incredible.
And then finally landed in LA. So
such a great story. I love it.
And then had babies, right? One after the other.
It's so cute, but it's great. See, goals.
Yeah. So that sucked. And now
I'm really excited to read your book.
Yeah, she's very excited. Maybe I'll listen to it on tape.
Yeah.
Wait, I
I'm
have
the
not a
audiobook is
reader.
great.
What are your 3 favorite spiritual books?
Oh my gosh. Wayne Dyer. So
Okay.
Yes.
Power of Intention.
I do like him.
Whew, I mean, so amazing. Regina Thomas Hour. So she's the author of Pussy. And so it's a whole reclamation to just your feminine energy.
Okay.
Because
Which
I think a lot of
learned
times
a lot more lately.
we give that away. And this is a New York Times bestselling author. She's also been on our show. And
Very cool.
it's a fabulous book for anybody who feels like they're not really in their feminine. And I think a lot of us go-getting women, we forget that.
Yes, I
And so
speak a lot about this. This is
100%.
so great. I
and
love
we-
this.
And do the work by Dr. Nicole LaPera.
I think
cool.
what we should do for our team is get them a book every
Just ordered a
quarter
book, actually.
so that they can read it.
I think that's so great.
Isn't that great? I love that.
just-
And in fact,
yeah.
I'll try and read too.
Yeah.
So
Very exciting.
and
And
you're
your
doing so
teas.
many things.
I know.
Jesus, I'm looking at this chai
Yes.
tonics. Like what?
Oh
Tell
my
us all about. And
gosh.
I love rose. I'm obsessed. 'Cause I love the Bulgarian rose because I traveled to Bulgaria a lot.
you did.
So I love
So Rose Ritual Chai.
Yeah, so oh my gosh, this has been a labor of love because I grew up obviously drinking chai.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of the culture.
Well, let's back up because I don't understand this chai. I'm a coffee drinker. She's always like, I'm not touching that. Explain this
gosh.
chai to me.
Okay, chai just means tea
Yeah.
in
Ayurveda.
Hindi, Urdu. Right. And so it's Ayurvedic, and Ayurveda has been around for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
oldest
the Panchakarma
science.
thing you did.
It's like your Panchakarma
Yeah.
that you did.
Right.
And it basically comes with a science that your body knows how to heal. And your body knows what it needs. And there's
that.
different herbs that support your different doshas. And we all have the different doshas, right? Either we are too cold, we are too warm,
Right.
or we are too hot.
Always, yeah.
You know, that pitta energy, that's kind of like the basics, but it actually supports what we're doing in life, how we get upset.
Do you feel different when you drink it?
Oh, absolutely. These are adaptogenic. So these are adaptogenic superfood chais.
I'm trying it for sure.
Yeah,
Because
and
I'm
they're
always
vegan.
cold.
They're vegan, so they're sweetened with jaggery and monk fruit and dates. So it's
Oh, wow.
1 gram of sugar.
Yeah.
Rose has the highest energetic frequency of any plant. That's probably why we
calming?
feel more feminine when we're drinking it, and it actually opens our heart. So if anybody is sensitive to any of the psychedelics, this is actually great because it really is a heart opener. And there's so many studies on the flower rose because it's more feminine and it really opens you up. And so in this particular blend, we put 4 Ayurvedic herbs in it to support hormones, women's health, and stress relieving. So I like to say it's kind of a daily reset, and it brings you back to your nervous system to calm you down during stressful days.
Nice.
We're kind of like go, go, go. We're always in our masculine,
Yeah.
like slaying the day and all the things.
Literally.
This kind of gives us a sense of peace. And so, it's green tea.
So there's no caffeine in it.
There's green tea in it.
Okay.
Yes.
And so do people drink this during the morning or
You
at night?
can
So I'm
drink-
such a coffee person. I don't need like
So if you're
I see the
drinking
green
coffee-
stuff and I'm like, again.
So this is not green. This is actually a pink chai,
Oh,
but
wow.
the base is green. And that's what people really love it on Instagram. We're not on TikTok yet, but we are going to be. But yeah, I wanted to give women a slice of coming home to themselves.
I love
That's
that.
beautiful.
And it's
I
good
love
for
that.
periods?
She's gonna steal
It's
it from
great
me.
for
I can tell you.
period.
I
It's
mean-
great for fertility. It's
that's
great
great.
for if you have PMDD. I know a lot of times it becomes debilitating. I grew up with crazy PMS, and so and postpartum and perimenopause and menopause.
And it helps all that.
It helps
And I
all
have a
of that.
question. Where
yes.
do you make this?
Oh, this is blended in the U.S. And
Is
so
it?
all you
Okay.
have to do is just add water. You can add water, your choice of milk.
And how do
It's
they
instant.
how do they order this?
They can go to chaitonics.com, CHAI tonics, TONICS.com.
And this
So
is your
excited to
newest
drink
baby.
this.
This is our newest baby.
Oh, I think
Love the artwork
this
on
is this
here,
has
too.
a lot of
Oh,
passion
thank
behind it. I
you.
can
Yeah.
I
There is
can
so much
feel it when
passion.
you're talking about it. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And even I want to try it.
Perfect. Yes, it's and I think it's giving people a reason to have a ritual again.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that.
Ritual
Well,
for
you
yourself.
heard it right here on The Power of We. You are amazing.
Thank you so much for coming. This has been so wonderful.
Oh my gosh, you two are such a dynamic duo. Such an honor to be here with you both.
Thank you.
And if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so definitely hit me up at Neeta Bhushan if you want more, daily dose of personal growth at the Brave Table.
Which is an incredible podcast you have to listen to. Thank you so much.
Thank you.